This is the Mold Inspection Addendum. It is generally incorporated as part of the contract, the real estate contract for purchase and sale. And what it is, it's just an addendum that specifically pertains to a mold inspection and mold itself. The addendum signed by both the seller and the buyer concerning the property that the buyer is intending to buy, the seller is selling. And what they do, seller actually initial inspection paragraph here, mold inspection. Basically, the buyer's expense can have a home inspector, licensed contractor, or other licensed professional, if required by law, to conduct an inspection of the property for the presence of mold. Now, it has a default period of 20 days from the effective date. The date is the date buyer and seller the contract. Basically, they both off on the contract, and that's day one. So within 20 days of that, or within a period as specified here, meaning if you decide that you want 10 days, you put 10 days in here. 20 days is a great time for most retail real estate contracts. Does give the home inspection, ancillary inspections done, including mold. Said is that once you've selected a period of time from the effective date, that inspection must be done. Buyer hereby agrees to repair all damage resulting from the inspection and restore the property to its pre-inspection condition. This obligation survives the termination of the contract. And the that's in here is that if in fact the buyer decides that, mold and they exercise the right to cancel under paragraph 2 here, or the seller, they both agree to cancel the contract. The buyer is still responsible for repairing the property. Do a mold inspection. Normally they remove portions of the wall or the flooring or potentially affected area. So what has to be done is the buyer has to restore the property to its pre-inspection condition. Go in there and have an inspection, pull apart the wall, and then turn around and leave it for the seller to repair. That's why it's survived the termination of the contract. Even if the repairs are not done prior to cancellation, they have to have somebody come in there and repair it. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to get rid of the mold. It's just that they're going to actually replace whatever portion of the wall that they okay. Paragraph 2, cancellation provision in here. If the inspection reveals the presence of mold and requires professional remediation to remove it at a cost that exceeds a certain amount, and here it says $500, but it could be any amount specified. You put in $1, it could be $1, right? Cancel the contract by delivering written notice to seller within 3 days after the expiration of the mold inspection period. Okay, up here we talked about the mold inspection period. Say that's 20 days from the effective date. So buyer can cancel the contract by delivering written notice to the seller within 3 days after the expiration of that period. So within days 20 to 23, the buyer has to give them written notice to cancel. The notice must be in writing. Written notice to them. The buyer's deposit will be refunded to them. Okay. And if the buyer fails to conduct the inspection within that 20-day period, if it's 20 days up here, or fails to deliver timely notice, which is 3 days after the expiration of that inspection period, this contingency for the mold inspection will be waived. Will be bound to actually accept the property as even with the mold. So, this is a very important addendum to have to a contract because it allows for that mold inspection to occur. It allows for a cancellation of the contract if the potential feels that the remediation of that mold will exceed a certain amount. This could be any amount. It could be $1. It could be $1,000 depending upon what's negotiated. The lower the amount, the better for the buyer because it gives the buyer the opportunity to actually cancel the contract. So again, is very important to have. And questions with regard to any inspections, any real estate contracts or other issues, we have other training available to you that will be able to direct you in that area. Take care. Bye.